Okay, well, how do I even start this?
Part 2.
So we recorded our last session all in one take because we also wanted Malik's takes on Stranger Things. But then all of our other theater friends decided to come into the room and heard us giving our opinions, and then they gave their opinions, and then everybody was giving their opinions all at one time, and it became very chaotic and unlistenable. I mean, maybe not unlistenable, but I feel like there were some good takes and funny moments, but it was definitely I can't edit it properly.
More for the super fan than the casual fan.
We'll put it on Patreon. But literally, we had somebody sitting on the floor, and he kept being like, "Oh, give me the mic," and then we moved the mic over to him, and then we had to move the mic back. So it was, too many chefs in the kitchen, too many strangers in the things.
Familiar strangers.
So now we're gonna re-record the review part of this with just Rob and I. Sorry, guys. If you're listening to this and expecting to hear your voice on the podcast. And Malik accidentally fell into the upside down, so we're reviewing Stranger Things to try and get him out before.
Yeah, this is the only way.
We had to.
Vecna told us until we complete this review.
We won't be able to get Malik back.
Right.
This is what Malik is listening to in order to free him from Vecna's thing instead of
we are
running
Kate
up
Bush.
that hill.
We're his Kate Bush.
So I'll be completely transparent too. I did not write a script for this part, but I have notes and stuff like that. I figured Rob and I can keep the conversation going well enough on our own. And I think that was part of the problem with the other review is that I didn't have a script, so everybody just kept jumping in and telling me whatever. All right, but anyway, so now continuing on with the actual review. Well, I think it's very clear that we didn't like it. So
I didn't hate it. I want to say that. I'm going to put myself in the middle of the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
Stranger Things as a whole or the final season?
The final season.
Okay.
Yes, I think I could come and go on each season. I can't remember them all distinctly, but there were some I definitely liked less than others. Mm-hmm. But I didn't find the ending as upsetting as the people who have the conspiracy theory that that it's going to keep going. I was fine that it ended.
Yeah, well, and at this point, we're recording this the last week of January, so I think it's pretty certain that there is no secret episode coming out anymore.
Time to give it up, friends.
Yes. Also, the fact that I mentioned earlier watching the review, or not the reviews, the documentary that they made, and it's very clear in that documentary that there's going to be no secret episode because the brothers didn't even finish writing the final episode before they started filming it.
It'd be a pretty good conspiracy. They keep that a secret.
Right. And honestly, it was interesting in that part of the documentary because I think what happened was that they were on site for where they needed to be to film some scenes for the final episode. And so they had to film those scenes right then and there because they were leaving that site. And so they had to film them. And they show a clip of one of the brothers. I don't know which one because they're twins and they look the same. And he looks pissed, and he's pouting that they had to film today, and they're recording him, and he just looks so mad, and he's literally pouting, and then also they're filming all these people around, and they're like, yeah, we're holding a script, but do you notice how it's red? That means it's not finished yet, so we don't even know what's happening, and it's what also I guess they thought it was quirky, but why would you put that in the documentary? Why would you out yourselves like that you didn't finish?
So he was upset because he had not had the opportunity to finich writing the thing.
Yeah, before they were filming.
Or he was mad at
finale.
himself because he's sitting there without a script.
I think it was both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they seemed like they genuinely so here's my take on it, because I loved the first season of Stranger Things. I was a really big Stranger Things fan, and I remember watching the first season a ton, and it lost me in the second season. It was almost as soon as the second season started, I was like, this is not nearly as good, and it got worse and worse, and every season I hated it, except for season 4. It had moments that brought me back, because I thought Vecna was a really cool villain. And then season 5, I think, as I was watching it for the first time, I didn't hate it, and I was enjoying it, but the ending is so dissatisfying to me that I'm I think all of it's bad. Like, it's just not good. And then because I went for this episode, went and rewatched the entirety of Stranger Things within like a week, and it was like a slog. Like, I was like, this is
I would
so
never do that.
boring. It sucks.
I'm currently watching cartoons from 1989 and 1990 for a research project, and I would not go back and watch Stranger Things.
No.
I'm watching some wacky shit, but no, I would not do that.
Well, it's just like, but where I was going with that point is that, like, I don't think the Duffer Brothers are bad people. I don't think that they're bad directors. They seem like nice guys. Like, everybody on the set seemed to have like a good time with them. And I think some of the shots and things that they pulled off were cool, although they didn't direct every episode, so I can't give them all the credit for that. But like, I don't think that they're bad directors. I just don't think that they're good writers.
Yes.
And they even say in their documentary that they didn't really even want to be writers, but they kind of needed to be a writer to get their foot in the door. So
Too late now.
yeah. Well, and now they're, because Stranger Things was such a success, that first season, everybody was like, oh my God, the Duffer Brothers are geniuses. But then they didn't know where to go from the first season.
It's very Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I guess.
Except the Game of Thrones had a book that they just ran out of.
A lot of books, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so good for so long.
Until they ran out of books.
Yes. And then those dudes didn't know what they were doing. So I think what happened with Stranger Things was that they had a really good idea. They took a lot of time to write it, and it ended up being a good idea. And, they sold it and stuff like that to Netflix. And then they didn't expect it to be as big of a success. So I think, I don't know this for a fact, but I think what happened is that they had all the time in the world to write the first Stranger Things, essentially. And then once it became such a big success, Netflix wanted it year after year, to keep riding the hype and whatever, and they had to then quickly come up with ideas that they had no idea what to do. And they left things open in the first season because they were like, oh, we can figure it out from there. But they genuinely just had no idea where to go from there, I think is what happened. And you can tell, and it's so frustrating when you look at the show as a whole, because they keep trying to be like, oh, see, Vecna had this plan from the beginning and stuff, especially in the final season. They keep driving that point home, especially because they show you flashbacks to, like, Will and the Upside Down, and they're like, see, we had this plan from the beginning, Vecna had this plan from the beginning, and it's like, no, it's just so obvious that you didn't. And it's so frustrating, because,
And that's fine. They could have just not bothered to tell us.
yeah.
If they didn't project that, oh, we were planning this all along. No, we can roll with that. It's fine. You can write things as you go.
Yeah. But it's also... It's just... But they made such a big point of it.
Yes, then it becomes an issue.
Yes. And maybe it's like, maybe they were like saying like, oh, well, we didn't necessarily have it planned from the beginning. But in the show, it says that Vecna does. But then you go back and watch the first season, and it's so obvious that Vecna was not even a thought in the writers' minds. And so I think I would like to go real fast, like, through each season and talk about that, and then lead up to the final season.
Let's do it.
So first season, I think it was so special. It's like, it caught well, everybody, like, my dad even loved it, and he hates sci-fi stuff because it caught, like, how it was like to live in the 80s. I mean, I wasn't alive, but so you tell me, Rob, like...
I mean, I was little for the years of the show. I mean, it jumped forward in time, I think, at the end. Didn't it start in, like, 1980? Before I was born.
Well, it ends in 89.
Right.
So they graduated high school in 89, so...
When do they start high school? But they're in middle school when it begins, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not in high school when it begins.
So it's like 7 years, like 81, 82.
Yeah. What I really like about it is because, like, I love the Goonies and stuff, movies like that. So I think how... It felt very Goonies, while these kids are so cute, and they also casted, like, the perfect kids. Like, they all had so much chemistry together. I thought the writing was cute. Like, I really liked all of the kids and the characters. And then the way that they tell the mystery is really interesting, especially because it was, like, 3 separate people. Like, it's, like, Nancy and Jonathan investigating the Demogorgon, the kids investigating Eleven and Will's disappearance, and then Hopper investigating Will's disappearance also, but in a different way. And then all of them coming together at the end. Oh, and Joyce, of course, Joyce investigating Will's disappearance and also like that scene where she's in the room with the lights and he says run is like, it's so iconic. Even watching it now, I was like, and the lights all in her house, like it's so cool. It's so cool. There's so many cool moments in the first season. But I would like to point out too in the first season that like what for people who are like, oh, they had it planned from the beginning, the Duffer Brothers it's so clear with their writing that sometimes they just forget things. Like even in the first season there are things that they forget. Like in the first 3 episodes of Stranger Things, the Byers have a dog and then it just goes away and they never mention it again.
It's inconvenient.
They forget that they have a dog.
It's expensive to hire that dog handler.
For real, I guess. But
the dog's contract expired.
I watched an interview where they were like, somebody asked like, oh, what happened to the dog? And they were like, oh, we forgot. And they're like, well, I think we didn't forget. I think in season 2 you can see like a grave in the backyard. So the dog died.
Ooh, we don't remember that happening.
I don't even think that's true. But
so was there a day when the dog handler shows up with the dog and they're like, no, there's no, not today, guys.
Exactly. The last time you see the dog, I'm pretty sure was in the like 3rd or 4th episode of the first season. The last shot of it is it sitting in Will's little like fortress he built in the backyard with Jonathan, and it whines because it's like, oh, I miss Will, and that's the last you ever see of the dog.
The dog's agent can't get anybody on the phone.
It's so crazy. It's genuinely, it's so ridiculous. And then another thing in the first season to point out is, you know, I forgot about this because I hadn't watched Stranger Things in a long time since this other seasons pissed me off, but they have a whole entire funeral for Will. And then Will comes back and like the show just doesn't mention how the town reacts to this.
Moves on.
Like they just are like, oh, Will's back. But we had an entire funeral for him. The whole town was there. It was like his deadbeat dad showed back up, which I forgot that guy was even a character.
I thought he was dead.
No, he was like, he just fucked off and he showed up to try and like get Will's insurance money or some shit. And I was like, what?
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, Joyce is like, get the fuck out of my house, and he leaves. But so it was a really just to give a little bit more context to my rewatch of this is I watched the final episode of the final season New Year's Day, and then an hour after finishing the final episode I went back and started my rewatch of the entire series. And it's so interesting also going back to rewatch the first episode because it feels like a completely different show. The writing feels completely different. The characters feel completely different. They're not cartoon versions of themselves. They feel like real people in this first season. And I think as each season goes on, they get more and more cartoony. And we'll talk about it later, but like it's very clear with some of the side characters like Robin, who like starts out as a normal person and then literally the next season is an actual cartoon character, like a Muppet.
They can't keep writing at that level.
No.
Yeah.
And it sucks because the first show was so good. There's so many iconic moments, like all the kids on the bike and 11 flips the car over them. It's like so cool. Like there's so many good moments. Oh God, now I'm like, is this something that I want to talk about now or is this something I need to talk about later? I think I'm very confused by, we argued about this in the last review with the okay, so we'll start here.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, the first season implies that the Upside Down is like its own separate place, and 11 through her psychic abilities accidentally creates a portal to this realm or whatever, the gate that they keep calling it. But then we find out in the 5th season that they thought it was an alternate dimension this entire time. It's not an alternate dimension. It's access to a wormhole that leads you to an entirely separate planet. So the Demogorgon isn't a creature of the Upside Down. It's a creature of this separate planet that they dub the Abyss. And how? How does that work? Because it's so frustrating, especially when you go back and rewatch the first season right after watching the finale. It's like it doesn't make any sense. How did 11... I feel like the show implies that 11 created the wormhole itself, But how? How did she do that? And it's like she touches the Demogorgon in her like little vision thing, and that's what opens the gate. But how is the Demogorgon even there? How is it even close enough for her to see it in her visions? Because part of the problem in the 5th season is that Vecna on his planet is too far away for her to see in her visions. So if there is no wormhole, how is the Demogorgon close enough for her to have visions of it? And why is the Demogorgon calling out to her? Why is it not Vecna? Because he didn't exist yet, but
yes,
in the writing. And then also, I'm pretty sure that the Demogorgon is eating a deer in that first season when she goes to touch it. Where did he get the deer from? There's no deers in the abyss. And it's also
that was the one.
He killed the one deer in the abyss. Where is that from? Also, it's like, okay, so if 11 has the power to open up a gate, we learn that the Demogorgon does too, because the Demogorgon
and also
constantly...
that giant ball of antimatter.
Yeah, oh yeah, where the fuck did that come from?
But that was supposed to be what, because they blew that up to close the gate, right?
Right.
So
maybe,
technically that is what's maintaining the wormhole.
So maybe it does imply that 11 didn't create the wormhole.
I don't think she created it insofar as the lab created it with the giant ball of antimatter. However,
But how the fuck did they do that? And they never mentioned that.
Dusty looks in that binder and he's like, oh yeah. Look, they created this.
I know. That part bothered me so much in the final season, too, because it's like, I know Dustin's smart, but, like, he looks at one page on a book and is like, oh, my God, I figured everything out. It's like, what?
At long last.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what I thought, but now that I've read these extremely advanced physics formulas,
Right.
I'm good to go with my high school physics.
Okay, so maybe my point is mute, but it's not at the same time, because it's still frustrating. It doesn't make any sense.
I think there is an implication that she casts Vecna into this space and he can't get out of it, right?
In the 4th season, yes.
Yes. So insofar as that's true, there's an implication that she has something to do with the Upside Down, like access to or otherwise, right? But that other people can't access it, which is quite odd insofar as they made it a wormhole out of this antimatter. So I do think there's inconsistencies there for sure.
Yeah.
If she's the only one that can cast people into it, et cetera, like how do these scientists not have access to the thing they made with their giant ball of antimatter?
Right. It does not make any sense. And then
Too much going on there.
Yes. And then also, because it's so much simpler if it's like, oh, there's this alternate dimension that these creepy monsters live in, and 11 accidentally created a portal to it.
Well, the implication also is that Vecna is somehow... they are him and he is them.
Yes.
That they are an extension of him, which suggests that the abyss is not a separate place in time and space, but rather a mental, some sort of like extra dimension. It's not a physical universe. You're right. With the wormhole, it's a planet.
Yes.
Somewhere.
And they call themselves space travelers.
And yet the creatures on that planet are like... involved in some like heavy, consciousness work where they can meld minds and this sort of stuff. The hive mind, yeah.
They have a hive mind. They keep saying that throughout the whole show.
So it's a remarkable coincidence that he gets cast into this space when he's this super psychic, where he then mind melds with what happens to be this super psychic entity on this planet. Like there's a lot of extremely coincidental things going on there.
Well, it's also like she also happens to send him to the one planet, because we learn in the final season that Vecna is under control of the Mind Flayer, but also isn't under the control, or is cool with being under the control of the Mind Flayer.
He chooses it, yeah. That makes us feel good about killing him.
Yeah, so he touches the rock, and the Mind Flayer's like, come find me. And then Elle happens to cast him away to the one place where the Mind Flayer is.
Right, yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
It seems like from the time he absorbs, that antimatter, right, that he is somehow now linked to this creature and this other, but not dimension, other planet.
Yes.
But no, that doesn't link together.
Also, like, why is Elle able to cast people to different planets? What the fuck is that power? And she only does it the one time.
Right, and and those planets happen to be linked to the same, wormhole that's been created that goes to this Mind Flayer. Like,
It just doesn't make any sense.
Of all the planets in the universe, they found the one with the super psychic entity on it.
Yep. Yeah. It's wild. It doesn't make any sense. I like the show so much better if you look at it from just season 1 as this like little complete thing. Like, it's a neat mystery. Like, if they cut out the part where Will accidentally spits up a Demogorgon egg and whatever, like,
What's
I
that
feel
mean?
like it's, I know, well, because it's like the Demogorgon egg, I think it's implied in the second season becomes the Demo Dogs, or it becomes one of the Demo Dogs.
Okay.
But what is the implications of that? That Will's giving birth to the eggs to the Demo Dogs?
And is that what they were really missing? Was dog-sized versions of themselves? Like, that's what we need around here.
Right.
We could conquer the world if we just had a few smaller versions of ourselves.
But it's also confusing too, because then, like, right in the second season, it's like, oh, if we shut the gate, the Mind Flayer cannot control the demo things on this side of it. But, like, the Demo Dogs and the Demogorgon are shown to have the ability to traverse from the Upside Down to the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't the Mind Flayer do that? And why do they need to close the main? So I'm guessing, I guess what's implied is that the main gate gives them all the power to do that. But it seems like the Demogorgons have their own power to open their own gates.
In theory.
Okay, yeah, sure. But we see the Demogorgons open their own gates all the time. In the first season they do it. Nancy accidentally falls into one.
They seem to be drawing on this, antimatter. Whatever they call it something else in the show, but all of it seems to root back to this. The arrival of this antimatter in this mysterious silver case is what launches the whole thing. And somehow the scientists conjure this giant ball of it. These things, I'm sure, are linked. Like, the scientists probably had already conjured the antimatter by the time, right? Like, in theory,
Yeah.
like, where else does the ball of antimatter come from if not the giant ball of antimatter? Therefore, for some reason, they're holding this super psychic program.
Right. It's, oh my God. It's just like, but that's why I wanted to do this review, is because it's like, when you look at it all as a whole, it just doesn't make any sense. And it ruins it for me. Like,
it's postmodern. It trips along the surface of things, and if you look too closely, it falls apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand that it's fiction, and, like, I'm cool with fiction, and I'm cool with things not necessarily, I'm cool with things not seeming real or whatever, but I want answers that make sense in the terms of the show. And I think there's no clear answers for things, and I think that's really frustrating especially when you write a show that's meant to be a mystery, right? Like, Stranger Things is a mystery, and part of the fun of mysteries is that, like, once you know the mystery, you go back and rewatch it, and you're able to see things that point towards that mystery that you weren't able to before.
Yes.
You can do that when you watch the first season of Stranger Things just by itself. But if you go back and watch the entirety of Stranger Things, leading to the solving of the mysteries in season 5, it's like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't understand how these pieces line up and add to this.
Right.
So I guess that's my review of season 1. By itself, it's awesome. If you put it in context with everything else, it kind of ruins the first season, because I'm like, why is Vecna, why Will, of all kids? Like, I know Vecna's like, oh, kids are weak-minded or whatever, but what did Will even do? He's like, oh, Will, you helped me build my tunnels. It's like, what? But, like, how... But Will didn't do that. Like, I don't understand. It's, oh my God.
And he can control these Demogorgons who can move back and forth. Why didn't they come dig the tunnels?
Right?
They seem stronger.
How did Will build the tunnels? Like, I mean, I know that it's like, it implies that, like, in his dreams that, like, I guess Will was, I guess, like, they say he was, like, the antenna, so, like, access for Vecna to be in that world.
Okay.
But...
Yeah.
I don't know. But okay, so going into season 2, yes. So we have, I just instantly, the writing is not as good. I remember being really excited to see that 11 was taken in by Hopper, but then Hopper's such an asshole. He's horrible. He's like, I feel like Hopper goes through the same lesson each season. And it's that, Hopper, you need to stop being such a dick. And you need to be more open and honest with your emotions. And he is better at the end of the season, and then he goes right back to how he was. And it's so frustrating. And that happens every fucking season.
Well, as he becomes more and more of a commando.
Yeah, he becomes... Oh, that's another point, yes, I think part of what makes the first season of Stranger Things so fun is it's normal people dealing with these crazy things and like kind of figuring it out because like they're smart and they're like a little bit more special than everybody else, right? But it's like Hopper is still able to really kick people's asses, but he's not a fucking action hero. And that's where it loses me also in the final season, is like everybody is an action hero, and it's like that, but this isn't like fucking Mike's mom is taking a bottle of wine and stabbing the Demogorgon. It's like, what are we doing? Like this is not what this show is. Like nobody's not, and they're trying to give everybody their like little action hero moment. You are not action heroes. Like this is not what we came here to see. Like it's fun watching Steve not understand what he's doing with a baseball bat being like, what the fuck is that thing? Like not them all dressed in armor being like, yeah, we're gonna go kick Vecna's ass. Like I don't know, like I just think it loses that charm because it's so fun watching them be like scared but still being able to like kick the Demogorgon's ass but not quite understand what it is, to them being like Nancy being like, I'm a feminist, here's my shotgun. Like, you know,
the stakes are higher and they're more identifiable.
Yeah. It's just it just loses that for me. Second season, it's fine. I remember really, really not liking it when I first watched it, but when I did the rewatch, I didn't hate it as much because I think it was still just charming enough. Like it still captures some of the original charm, but there are still things about it that I really don't like. Like I mean, and this is no surprise, I hated the episode where Eleven goes and finds her sister, Collie. And also I just think it's so funny too. It's like everybody, like it's universally accepted that everybody hates that episode and everybody hates that character and everybody hates those characters. And then in the final season they do a huge reveal and everybody's like, oh, who's in the thing? And it's like, oh, it's that character who I hate.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's so ridiculous.
Who's behind the door? Oh crap.
Yeah. Oh great.
It should have been Barb.
Right. People would have flipped. It should have been Eddie. Like,
sure. Yeah, Eddie would have been good too.
Honestly. Oh man, especially since he like literally died. Oh well, no, Barb did too. They both
could Jon Snow and bring his ass right back.
Hell yeah. Well, people thought that was gonna happen, but
of course they were never gonna let the protagonist die.
About Eddie?
Jon Snow, but Eddie, they could have Jon Snowed him, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. People thought that Eddie was going to come back, but I think that the ending of season 2 is more of a satisfying ending to the series as a whole than the final season, because, well, for me, I really like the character 11. Well, I did.
This is the spider season 2, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. The who returns right at the end. Yes,
the Mind Flayer, except you only see him in like a foggy form.
Right.
And he uses Will as like a spy and stuff. Like it shows that he does have some sort of psychic connection to Will, and which is cool. Like I thought that moment was neat when Will is like, "Oh, I'm a spy. Oh no, I accidentally spied on you guys." Like that whole moment was neat with the tension there and stuff. It was just so obvious from the beginning that like the writing is just not as good, especially too because like there's so many things that you can just pinpoint. Like the second Bob shows up, I'm like, this guy's gonna die. And he does, and he dies in the dumbest way imaginable. He like closes the door as the Demodogs are in, and instead of running for his life, he turns around and looks at Joyce and he's smiling at her, and then the demo like just standing there, and it's like, why are you just standing there? Fucking run! And then the Demodogs kill him, and I'm like, am I supposed to feel sorry? Like, am I supposed to feel sad? Because I wasn't at all.
Yeah.
Like I just saw it coming. That sucked, like all of it. It's just like there's so many things that just don't make sense, and things that they already forget. Like in the first season, they meet Elle's mom, and she is completely nonverbal. Like she doesn't say anything, she doesn't acknowledge them at all, as far as I remember. But in the second season, all of a sudden, all she does is she says the same things on repeat over and over again. So all of a sudden, she's not nonverbal anymore, and it creates this whole thing for Elle to go find her sister. But I'm like, okay, so already there's inconsistencies there, and it leads to something that sucks. So boring, sucks. They just like, it just feels like sometimes that they don't even watch their own show and they just change the rules to fit whatever story that they want to tell this season. But yeah, so like I said, I mean, going through it, whatever, like, it's not terrible, but it's not nearly as good as the first season. But I do think that the ending is nice, and I do think that it's a better ending for the show as a whole, because it's like they took care of the Mind Flayer, they closed the gate permanently, they took care of the government problem because they, you know, Hopper became cool with one of the government guys, and the government guy was like, Elle can live a life normally. Like, and then all the kids get to go to a dance, and Elle gets to go to a dance, and like they get to live their lives normally. And I'm like, this is cute. This is good. This is a good ending. And then they ruin it. Even worse with season 3.
Right. Season 3 is the stinker of the bunch, really.
I hated season 3.
It's like on its own universe. It's unrelated.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Well, and this is another thing that I brought up to Rob before when we were we were talking about it, and then we were like, we need to stop talking about it so we can save it for the podcast. But so they use D&D as like a inspiration and
framing device.
Thank you. Sure. I couldn't think of the word framing device. There are so many monsters in D&D that they could have used for inspiration, and they use 3. There's 5 seasons. The first villain in the first monster in the first season is the Demogorgon. Then it's the Mind Flayer. Then it's the Mind Flayer again. And then season 4, they introduce a new villain, Vecna. And then in the 5th season, it's Vecna again.
Right.
Like, we have 5 seasons. You could have... what would have been cool, and if they had actually planned out their show or had any thought about what was going to happen after the season, after they, you know, finished writing the next season, what they should have done is it should have been the Demogorgon. Then it should have been... Well, they could probably keep it the same. So it's Demogorgon, Mind Flayer. Then you do Vecna. Then you do, for the 4th season, some other monster completely. Make people forget about Vecna. And then the 5th season, Vecna returns. I'm cool with that, especially because in D&D, the character Vecna is a lich, so he's an undead creature. And the big thing with liches is, like, if you kill them, they have a special thing called the phylactery or whatever that holds their soul. So if you don't destroy that thing, then they come back. So it could have been really cool for the kids to, like, destroy Vecna, and they're like, we did it, and then he comes back, and they're all like, oh shit, because you kind of lose that fear. I mean, they are afraid of it in the 5th season, but you lose that fear because they're, like, expecting it and looking for him to return, like, or they're, like, looking for him. It would have been so much scarier and so much more interesting for everybody if they killed him, we forgot about him, and then, oh shit, he's back, and he's even more powerful than he was before, and he's now pissed at us because we killed him the first time. Like, that would have been so much more interesting, but they just didn't put any thought into their story ahead of time. And that drives me crazy. Like, I'm like, when I look at a show as a whole, I want to be able to be like, oh, these things pinpointed to something that was going to happen in the final season, not, oh, they were making it up as they were going through. And I'm a Star Wars sequel apologist, and that's my biggest problem with the sequels, is that they were like, J.J. Abrams, write the first movie, and then everybody else will just figure it out. Fuck that noise. Like, you should have the whole thing planned out, sort of, you know?
They did have it planned out. It was called the first 3 movies.
Yeah, that's true, too. That is true.
George Lucas already wrote all of them.
But the problem with the sequels is J.J. Abrams was like, well, I'll throw in the mystery boxes, and then I'll leave Rian Johnson to answer them. And Rian Johnson answers them, and nobody likes the answers. And it's like, well, then J.J. Abrams should have answered it. But J.J. Abrams didn't know the answer either.
Right.
So
it's easier not to bother.
Yeah. Right, but that's not fun. Like, that's not fair for fans, I think.
No, I agree.
But yeah, so I that would have made Stranger Things as a whole so much more interesting if they did something like that. They didn't put any thought into it. Yeah, so season 3, I can't stand the character Billy. I
think that's a common reaction.
I don't know.
No, people like him?
Well, people think he's hot, which he...
But that doesn't excuse him being a Cronenberg monster.
No, but then they...
He's forgiven for this.
He truly, though. I see people thirsting over him all the time, and it makes me mad because I'm like, I couldn't wait for this character to die. Because they're introduced him in the 2nd season, and he's horrible, and he's racist. Like, the only reason he doesn't like Lucas is because he's black, and that's like... But they don't ever explicitly say that, but it's very obvious that that's why. And... And then, like, they're like, oh, but do you see he's abused too? And I'm like, okay, but there's a lot of people who are abused who don't also become abusers. I know it's a thing. Yeah, but it's also like, he was an abuser. And then also, the show is creepy. The Duffer Brothers I know it's not a show for kids, but there are children in the show, but they're like writing these children, like, we have to watch them make out, which is very creepy to me. And then also all of the moms in town want to sleep with Billy, who like literally just turned 18,
right.
If that. Super creepy. There's a whole entire plot point in the first episode of the third season where Mike's mom is about to go cheat on their dad with Billy. Like, right. It's fucking weird. It's creepy. I don't like it at all. And it really made me be like, I don't want to watch this season at all. But I can't let things die.
So here we are.
No, literally. So because that was at the point where Netflix was still releasing everything in like one batch. Mm-hmm. So I watched the entire season in one day because I was like, if I stop, I will not want to watch it again. So I watched it all in one day and I hated it so much. And so much of it to me didn't make sense, and like I do care about the kids, but like there's the plot points about their personal lives and them like breaking up and not breaking up, I thought was boring. Like it's like
a Saved by the Bell on top of a horror movie,
right? And it's like sometimes I feel like that can work, but it just didn't. The most fun part of season 3, especially on the rewatch, is Steve, Robin, and Dustin solving the Russian mystery. Mm-hmm. And it's so cute, like watching them like walk around the mall with the binoculars and stuff. But then it loses me once they actually make it into the Russian base. Also, Erica, Lucas's little sister, is like one of the most annoying characters in the whole show. I can't stand her. I don't think she's funny at all. Every time she speaks, I just wanted to stop. And
she becomes central to the end.
I know. But that's the thing, is like the Duffer Brothers have these characters, these side characters that they think are funny, and they're not. And it's like Erica can be kind of forgiven, but the character Murray, the conspiracy theorist, I hate that character. I hate him so much, and I would have forgiven every single sin in the show if that character had died in the most gruesome, painful way possible. But he didn't. He got to have a happy ending, even though he was one of the characters who least deserved it.
As I tell my students, comedy is hard.
And that actor can't do it.
Oh, I may have trouble writing it,
and they have trouble writing it. But everything, oh my God. And they clearly think he's the funniest guy in the world, but I can't stand him. Everything he says is like somebody's like rubbing sandpaper all over my skin. I can't stand him. Oh my God. And as I was rewatching the show, every time he spoke, I would just audibly groan, be like, please stop talking. And they make him more important every season.
Well, so that brings us to 4 and 5, yeah?
Yes. Well, first too, right before we end season 3, the Mind Flayer is this like giant monster of flesh, like created by all these different townspeople and stuff like that.
Yes.
And it's chasing 11 and everybody around the mall.
Yes.
Why doesn't it just collapse the mall on top of them? As I was watching that entire scene, I wasn't scared or like invested at all, because I'm like, this giant monster could just collapse them all on top of them and they would all be dead and its problems would be solved.
Right.
But here we are.
Because it can go to slime and back again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then also it's like they try to redeem Billy and make you feel sorry for him.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't care. I just genuinely
they sort of have
do
to,
not
though.
Care. Yes.
That's required.
But they do it with Billy, but they don't do it with Vecna.
No, Vecna, it's the anti-Christian ending, yes.
Yes. So then we get to season 4, where they introduce Vecna. And I will say that the Vecna parts of the plot I think are so cool. Like, they're so interesting. I think the horror scenes that Vecna induces are super cool. I think the whole plot of the music being able to help bring you back is super cool. I think Vecna looks cool. All of the designs that happen, like his house, the way the clock chimes, like all of it, I think works so well. But it's everything that happens around that is awful. Like, because I remember watching the fourth season for the first time and being like, oh, that was actually pretty cool. But on a rewatch of it, when I did the whole rewatch of the series, those parts were cool, but it wasn't enough to make me realize that the rest of the season is horrible.
You mean the Russia plotline?
Oh my God, I fucking hate the Russia plotline.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Because it's so stupid. Joyce is not an action hero. Why is she flying to Russia to break Hopper out of a prison cell?
So this is where we begin the action heroization of the cast.
Yes. Also, I can't stand Murray.
Hopper too, really is.
Yes.
That's where we really amp up his action hero status.
Also, like, the Duffer Brothers have a problem with killing off characters. They will happily kill off a character that they've just introduced, just enough time for you to get to like them. But if the character was in the first season and survived past the first season, they will not kill off a character because of
They're
fans.
too attached, yeah.
Exactly. And they learned that lesson with Barb because people went nuts when they killed Barb. And they genuinely changed the plot of the second season to give justice to Barb because fans demanded it. So they care a lot about what the fans want, which is, fair, because it's like you are writing it for them, but also part of what makes art so special is that you need to write it for yourself too. Like, you can't worry about what everybody else is going to think. Like, they didn't write that first season being like, oh, we need to make sure the entire world loves this. That's when art becomes, because you can't make everybody love it.
No.
That's when it becomes, I don't know, like bastardized? Like, I don't know what the proper
Dull.
word would be. Thank you. Dull, yeah.
Super
And that's
Mario
what
Brothers.
happens. Yeah, yes, I know. You can talk about it if you want.
Well, I mean, it's too much of a tangent, but I mean, at its core, when you are just doing something to take the path of least resistance, that it's going to be dull. When you're not innovating into a thing, when you're not creating, it's that you're not letting that creative impulse flow.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what made the first season so special. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the first half of this episode, was that the Duffer Brothers were so adamant about this show being an adult show, even though it featured kids, even though all of the executives that they tried to sell this to were like, you cannot make a show for adults centered around kids. And they were like, we don't care. This is what our story is. Mm-hmm. If it was the Duffer Brothers now, they would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll change it. Like, that's the thing.
Success hamstrung them. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, where was I going with? Oh, yeah. So, I personally think Hopper should have died in that moment. Like, there's no way that he could have survived that. Mm-hmm. And it's stupid that he did. But they clearly did that so that, because nobody wanted Hopper to die, because they were afraid of the fans being upset that Hopper died.
Right.
Whatever. And so that already pissed me off. And then 2, he's in this Russian cell. 3, we're having an entire breakout bullshit in Russia. Murray is so important in this. He never stops talking. And then they meet a character who is Murray, but Russian. And oh my God. And the two of them together. And you know that Murray's a bad character when Murray meets the exact opposite of him and is like, oh no, and a mirror of him. And he's like, this guy sucks.
Can't take this guy.
Right. But he is you, Murray. You are the same character, except he's a little bit more of a dick than you. Like, and I already hate Murray, so now there's 2 of them, and I can't stand it. It's horrible. It's so, and I don't find any of it interesting. I don't understand what the Russians are up to. How can the Russians get to the Upside Down if it's a wormhole? Like, I don't understand. But I guess that they were trying to do the Upside Down in Russia and they couldn't, so they went to Hawkins in the 3rd season because that's the only place that it is. But why? If it's a wormhole, it doesn't make... Excuse me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's just so frustrating. And then also, like, what? So they're training Demogorgons to fight people for the war? That's what they're doing.
The war.
The war against America. I think that's what they say, though, isn't it? They have the Demogorgons there, and they
It's a Cold War thing, yeah. Yeah. Like the anticipating using them against America if need be. Yes.
But so stupid. It's just so dumb.
Remember the Cold War?
I don't, but I mean, I do. I've read about it, been told about it, but I was not alive during the Cold War. I just don't. The whole Russian plot drives me crazy. And I also really don't like Jonathan as a character, and I think how shitty of a boyfriend he is really shows in that fourth season. It shows a lot in the third season too,
and in the fifth.
Especially, I mean, he just gets worse and worse every season. I never liked him. Oh, and that's something I need to talk about in the first season too. Going back real fast, that motherfucker was taking pictures of them getting undressed, like being a pervert.
Right.
A pervert. Like, he is a pervert. Like, there was no reason that he was taking pictures of them getting naked, except for the fact that he wanted to jack off to them later.
I think you might as well string together your whole Jonathan Byers theory straight onto the end here. So let's start at that point.
Right.
Okay.
So he seems pretty okay up until that moment. Like, he's just like a sad guy who his brother is missing, and he's got a crazy mom to deal with. But then they throw in him taking pictures of Nancy while she's getting undressed and is about to have sex with Steve. Like, he's like legit kind of stalking them. And the show at most gives him a slap on the wrist for it. And Nancy doesn't care. Like, so it's not even like he just took those pictures and was like, oh, why am I doing this? He went and fucking what is the word? Developed them. And in school, no less.
Right.
And so he was caught doing it. And so the show tries to make Steve, who, by the way, is the only character that ever learns from his mistakes in this show and actually progresses and becomes a different person. Everybody else stays almost exactly the same, I think. It feels like.
Right. Elle is the superhero from day one, tortured by her demons. Right.
But Steve, like, changes a lot. And Steve is the only character in the show that the show is like, you're an asshole, Steve, and you were an asshole, but, like, it's okay, you're learning. Everybody else is also an asshole, but the show never calls them assholes. And especially Jonathan. But yeah, so Steve, rightfully so, hears that Jonathan has pictures of his girlfriend naked on his camera, and so he takes the camera and he breaks it. And the show is supposed to make us feel like Steve is the bad guy. If I knew somebody was taking naked pictures of me or my girlfriend, I probably would also smash their camera.
It's a logical response.
Seriously. And he has the pictures of them. And then Nancy picks them up and realizes, and that's how she realizes that Barb was there still and whatever. So it becomes that whole plot point. So, like, the Duffer Brothers technically needed Jonathan there to take pictures so that they could figure out Barb was there. But there was no other way you could do that. There was no other way.
Don't ask me.
Like, Duffer Brothers, as you were listening to this podcast, as I know you will. What the fuck? And then Nancy just doesn't care. And he tries to say, he's like, oh, well, like, I like taking pictures of people because, like, it shows you what they're really thinking. And she was like, well, what was I thinking? Like, all cutesy, like she's flirting with him. He was taking naked pictures of you, Nancy.
Maybe she's into that.
I guess she was. And then, yeah, so then in the second season, they end up getting together, and it's like, whatever. I just already really don't like Jonathan, and I just think he's kind of annoying.
I think you got to connect it to the end.
No, I know. I'm trying
to.
So, like, first season, I think he's a pervert, and he gets off way too easy.
Yeah.
Second season, I didn't really care about him, and I wasn't happy that him and Nancy got together, but it was like, whatever. Third season, I cannot, is when I really, truly start to cannot stand him, because, like, Nancy is dealing with so much misogyny and bullshit at her newspaper job, and Jonathan's like, so what? He's like,
get over it, man.
Yeah, he's like, this is the way the world is.
This is how the 80s are.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, okay, but also, like, you should be more supportive of your girlfriend. And it's like, it's so frustrating. And she's like, come on, we're gonna go do this thing. And he's like, but we're gonna get fired. And she's like, who gives a fuck? We need to solve this mystery. Like, this, like, the rat turned to goo in front of us. We need to figure this out. And he's like,
deal.
oh, but what if we get fired? And then he's like, Nancy, you're so privileged, you're rich, like, I need this job. Like, oh, okay, I'm sure you're getting paid so much at this new,
right.
like, he does this whole thing and makes Nancy feel terrible just because she, like, is rich, or her family's wealthy and his is not.
Like, upper middle class, though.
Right. And it's like,
maybe even just middle class.
And he's like, well, you don't need this job. You can go, like, your parents will help you pay for things, but I need this job. Motherfucker, you can, first of all, you can find a different job. You're
that ice cream shop or the video shop.
Yes. You're also a white man. And it's also, like, the problem here is not about the job. It's about the fact that Nancy, who is a very smart and empowered woman, trying to be forced to not be empowered, and him siding with those people because he's like, but I'm poor.
Working class against the women.
Yeah. It's such a frustrating argument, and I really can't stand it. And I wish that they broke up there and then, but they didn't, because Nancy was like, "Oh, you're right, Jonathan. I'm sorry. I am a privileged bitch, and I suck."
Oops.
Yep. And it's like, well,
working class
Nancy. I think you're allowed to be upset that the men at your job are treating you like a secretary, like when you're not. But the show makes her out to be the asshole because Jonathan's like, but I'm poor.
Yeah, they really do like that character.
They do.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it. They like all the wrong characters. So that he sucks then. Season 4, he's just awful. Like he flat out says he doesn't want to be with her anymore, but is like, but I'm too afraid to break up with her. So he's like, I'm just going to let it like fizzle out. Fuck that noise. That makes me so mad. Like, just fucking tell her, man up. You fucking fought monsters together. Like, but you're too afraid to tell her that you don't want to be together anymore when you're halfway across the country? Not even halfway. He's all the way across the country. Yeah. Like, it's, oh my God, it makes me so mad. And then he's like a horrible brother. He's like this stoner guy who isn't doing anything. And also, speaking of horrible brothers, in the 4th season, Will is also a terrible brother to 11, because like 11 is clearly like not fully mentally developed in social cues and stuff. So Will is in the same class as her in whatever high school they're going to, and the assignment in that class is you have to make a presentation about an historical hero to you. But 11 heard a hero to you, and so she made it about Hopper, which is, fair enough for the project or whatever. But Will, who is in that class and is smart, I just tapped my water bottle. Will, who is in that class and is smart, would know that the assignment was for historical heroes. But he didn't tell her not to do it. He was like, he didn't explain it to her, so he let her get up there and do her presentation and get super embarrassed in front of the entire class.
That's true.
Like, it's like, what are you doing, Will?
Everyone's a jerk.
Everyone sucks. Everybody sucks. And it's like, why did he do that to her? And then it's like, he's not helping. I know Will isn't the most socially adept either, but like she grew up in isolation. Like, it's different. So like, why is he not helping her? And
she had all those other weird kids to hang out with.
When?
Well, kind of. To fight with and send into, other dimensions and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you forget about that. Yeah. And she literally forgot about that. The plot, because it didn't exist until they needed it for season 4, they were just like, oh, you just don't remember that happened. Yeah. Right? Which is another thing that really frustrated me in that season. It's just like, oh, you just don't remember. And that's why there was no evidence that any of these other kids existed before this season. But it's also, but like some of those memories are so interesting because I really, really like Jamie Campbell Bower, who plays Vecna. Or Henry. I think he's such a good actor, and so like those scenes with him, he's so creepy, he's so awesome, and they waste him. He's just wasted. Sorry, I got off on this tangent. I was talking about Jonathan. Anyway, yeah, he sucks. And he doesn't want to be with Nancy. And also, his surfer friend is so annoying. That's another one of those side characters that the Duffer Brothers thinks is so funny. And I'm glad that he just disappeared in the fifth season. They can't write comedy.
Yeah, they just can't write comedy.
In the 5th season, they just didn't even bother. They didn't even tell us what happened to him. They never mentioned him again. But he helped save the world. Like, literally helped save the world. And so did Susie.
Everybody really does.
That's true. So he doesn't break up with Nancy. And then in the 5th season, they're still together. And he's like, I'm going to propose to you. Except they obviously cannot stand one another. Like, they clearly do. And he's even so, like, insecure about the fact that he realizes Nancy doesn't like him anymore that he's picking fights with Steve. And it's like, Steve was being, like, a little flirty with her every now and again. But, like, there were definitely moments, like, especially the radio tower moment where Steve is just like, I'm just going to climb up there. And then Jonathan's like, like, no, I need to be macho and do it. Like, Steve was not doing it to show off to Nancy, but then it became a show off to Nancy when Jonathan made it that. Stupid. But the thing that drives me the most crazy is when they're doing their breakup scene, which I didn't get was a breakup scene.
No, I thought they were staying together.
I did too. With the way that it ended, I just thought that they were kind of like resetting their relationship.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that I'm like pretty good at understanding, like I have good media literacy, and I still didn't get it
written. Yeah, the dialogue at the end didn't make it clear. Okay,
No.
so we're not together anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so they're like telling each other things that they don't like about each other, and Nancy's like, man, I really don't like it when you're high, and like yeah, I don't like it when you're high. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's like one of the only things that she says to him. Oh, and I don't like your music. I don't like the whatever the band is. And he's like, oh, those papers that you write, I didn't read them because I don't think you're a good writer. Your life's work, I think it's bad. And you had a pink sweater. I really didn't like the color pink, so I sold it. Like I gave it to the thrift store. Like what? These things are not comparable. She has genuine complaints about you, and you're like, you wear pink, and I don't like that, so I'm gonna get rid of your personal property. What? And also like insulting her work, like these things that she pours a lot of effort into, and he's like, all you want me to do is tell you that it's good, and it's like, well, you're her boyfriend. Like,
that's sort of the deal.
Yes. But it's also probably is good, but knowing Nancy, oh my god, he's a horrible character. He's horrible, and it drives me crazy that the show like tries to make it out to be like, oh, it's just this tragic romance and they just can't be together because of the trauma and they were trauma bonded or whatever.
Yeah, they seem incompatible.
Yeah, it's because he sucks. He's not compatible with anyone.
Right.
And I wish he died too. The character, I'm not talking about the actors. Robin also is another character I want to talk about because I thought she was fine in the third season. Like, I really thought she was cool. The fourth season, she's like a completely different person. She's like literally a Muppet. She walks around like a cartoon character and says the dumbest things that are not funny.
They're trying to write comedy again. Every
It's
time they try to write comedy, it doesn't go well.
It does not.
She's like in a Pinkie Pie kind of like, aesthetic, right? But she wasn't before. But she's like moving in this direction, but she's not charming. It's irritating.
It's so, everything she said in the fourth season was so irritating. Like, especially like there's a scene where they go into Nancy's room and she's like walking through, like she has her hands out like a fucking vampire or a gremlin, and is like touching all of Nancy's things, and she's like, oh my god, Nancy has a music box in her room, oh my god, Nancy has this in her room, oh my god. And it's like, are you not a human? Like, what do you think it's crazy for her to have these things in her room? I just don't understand. And it's like, I know that they're trying to do the whole like, oh, it's okay to be quirky. It's like, okay, yes, it is, but this is not how people act. Like, this is not a real person. It's just, oh my god, it's so annoying. But you're right, it is. It's the comedy thing. They try to write comedy and it sucks.
They just can't do it.
They cannot. And it gets worse in the fifth season. Everything Robin said in the fifth season also pissed me off. So yes, we finally made it. Oh, also just like, there's this moment in the fourth season, it's like the culmination of everything. So everybody's back together. Eleven's in the mine fighting Vecna, and Vecna, like, Mike gives his whole big speech, which is like kind of nice, whatever. And Eleven finally starts to beat Vecna again. And Vecna's like, okay, you may kill me now, but you have lost in the long run. And 11 goes, no, you have lost. And then she kills him, or supposedly. And it's like, I feel like that's the epitome of their writing, where it's like, Vecna's like, oh, trying to be all ominous and stuff. And 11 just goes, no, you.
Oh, you got me there.
Yep. Oh, okay.
I know you are, but what am I?
It's like, seriously, it's so boring. Okay, but so made it to the final season. Yes. I'm sorry.
You'll figure it out in editing.
I will. I mean, it'll be fine. I don't care.
Okay.
But I didn't expect it to take this long. Where do I even begin? I just I mean, I feel like we've said a lot about it. I think the biggest things to talk about in this season are, well, we kind of talked about it. Like, there's a bunch of plot holes throughout the entire season, which the fans pinpointed as a sign that like a secret episode was going to happen, even though it was just that the Duffer Brothers just didn't know what was going to happen. So I think the biggest things to talk about are Will's coming out is a horrible scene. It's horrible. It's terrible.
It's very accurate to the time period. Everyone was super cool with the gays in 1989. What is it, 87?
89?
It's 89. Yeah, yeah. We love the gays in 89. That's the AIDS epidemic. All that. Yeah, it was, Reagan was like, we got to protect the gays.
That whole thing doesn't really make sense to me too. Or it was like, Vecna was like using his worst fear against Will, and his worst fear was that, I mean, to be fair, for
homophobia, sure.
Homophobia is
especially
a pretty
in the 80s.
big
I mean,
thing.
That's what I'm saying, being sarcastic, of course.
But it's also
homophobia was rampant in the 80s.
No, yeah, and I think that's a fair fear to have, but it's also really silly in the context of the show, because he's literally fighting monsters. So his worst fear is not that all of his friends and family will die.
Right. Yeah.
It's that they're going to be homophobic.
Yeah. It's a different kind of... I mean, yes, they get into this, all these emotional issues with the characters that seem to distract from the fact that they're in the apocalypse. They all stop to talk about their feelings.
They do, yeah, every season. I mean, every episode.
Yeah.
And then it's also really silly. There's just silly things that happen with, like, the mom and the dad, Mike's mom and dad, both get attacked and, like, almost killed by the Mind Flayer. I mean, Demogorgon. And nobody gives a fuck that the dad almost died. Like, if I'm being honest, I didn't know that the dad was alive until they showed him in the final episode, and I was like, oh shit, that guy's alive.
Kind of being a dick at graduation, yeah.
In the language.
Yeah.
But like the kids don't even mention him. They just are like, we gotta go talk to our mom.
Right.
But then we also have to talk to our mom, whose like lungs were essentially ripped out of her chest.
She'll be fine.
Yeah, but we need to know whether or not the bad guy that took our sister is actually Vecna.
Yeah, we could probably make that guess.
Very clearly was
Save mom,
Vecna.
but endangering her life.
Yes, it's also like his sister, Mike's sister, before any of this really starts, is like, I've been told by a mysterious mystery man who doesn't appear to anybody else that monsters are going to come and take me. Isn't that weird? And Mike's like, no, it's fine. Even though he knows that monsters are
That kind of stuff
real.
happens all the time around here.
And also that people see things in their mind around here.
Yeah, that are related to said monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, Holly, it's all good. And here's a little trinket to make you feel better. Which, that was cute. Fine. But,
Okay.
but... because I like D&D and stuff. But although I could get into how they do D&D in the show because it's bad. But
but you're already at
I'm already an hour.
19-minute episode.
I know. I'm going. I'm doing it. Yeah, so that all is stupid. Why did Vecna need to do his plan on the anniversary of the day that Will was taken? Like, why is that such a special day? It's not a special day, but it is. It's a special day because the show says it is. It's a special day because that's when the show started. But it's not a special day to Vecna. So why would it... I don't understand why it would be on the anniversary of that day, but it's because the Duffer Brothers were like, everything's connected, see? Even though it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so... like, Will having control over the hive mind, like, I don't really mind, but like, I didn't get, because they tried to do that like epic mid-season finale thing where they're like, Will killed all the Demogorgons with his mind, and isn't that so cool? And I was like, I guess, like, you know, like it tried to feel like this super awesome like Avengers moment where it's like,
he's got the power.
Yeah, they want everybody in the crowd to cheer as they're watching it, and I was just like, okay, whatever.
And everybody gets to be a hero.
Yeah.
It was just an 80s trope. I mean, it's an 80s cartoon trope. It's like a Scooby-Doo trope to some extent. I mean, Scooby-Doo, sometimes Daphne would not be a hero, but, the team pitches in. Well, Daphne gets abducted, but she was a 70s character ultimately. But yeah, if you're looking at like your like 90s, early 90s, late 80s cartoon, the whole team, right? The girl on the team, right? All the kids, everybody gets to, they have some sort of role to play. Mm-hmm. And everyone gets to win. So I liked that about it for its 80s-ness.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what I'm getting at is the writing of it. It feels like one of those moments in the movie theater where they write a moment to just be cool.
Yeah, rather than... Well, the character, yes. I mean, the character development's always a problem for them as well.
And, yeah, so I also feel bad will be one of the only times that I like shit on an actor's performance, but I just don't think Noah Schnapp is a good actor. And also on top of him not being a great actor, the coming out scene, the writing in it is not good. And he stutters a lot through it, like, and I think it's him trying to portray nervousness. But he's like, I don't like girls, but I do. I like them. I like them like I do, but I don't like them the way that you like them. And it's like, it's just.
Let's get on with it, buddy.
Please stop. Yeah, it's like that scene is so long, and it's longer because he stutters like that the whole time. It's not a good scene. And I do think it's really silly that like everybody in the room gets up and hugs Will, or is like, I agree, or like, I'm cool with you being gay. Steve says nothing.
See, that's authentic to the 80s.
But it's like,
that's the real
Steve
deal.
is cool with gay people because he really likes Robin.
Oh, right, yeah.
But
he's like, let's not make a big deal about this, you guys. Yes. This has gone too far.
It's so funny, like, looking and everybody's like crying and Steve's just standing there like,
come on now.
It's so ridiculous. But okay, so the biggest problem that I have with this season, and I think this is part of the reason why, like, I have decided I don't like the show as a whole, or I think the show is bad as a whole. I really do not like the treatment of 11.
Go ahead.
I think if any character deserved a happy ending, it was 11. And it drives me crazy that she is the only one who didn't truly get like a happy ending. Now, and I know it's up for interpretation, or like, and she can be really happy like in wherever she ends up or whatever, but we don't get to know that. We don't get to know if she has a truly happy ending. And I was really pissed off about it watching it. And then when I watched their documentary and they're showing how they were writing the final episode, they say this thing where they're like, oh, I think I wrote it. Yes, I did. So the Duffer Brothers, this is an actual quote from the documentary. One of them says, I don't know which one, I always thought that she kind of represents magic, talking about Elle, and so she has to leave. She has to be gone in order for them to move on. The door to Narnia closes for you, and then some other kids are going to find another door to Narnia later, but you're never going back. So that makes Elle a plot device, not a character, and I don't think that's fair to her.
Yes, I mean, she's a magical female, which is a topic of my research. So I was also interested in the way they wrapped her up. I think if she was a legitimate, like, divine feminine character, which is to say a woman who's on a journey of, becoming self-actualized, the divine feminine magical character, like the Rhiannons, the Psyches of the world, they assert themselves, right, ego-wise. They rise up, and then they're smacked down. And what they have to do is they have to go through this great ordeal. And in the end, if they survive the ordeal, the process, I think, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is about, like, connecting with community. So, the female character, insofar as she's like, oh, look at me, I am special, I am strong. The smackdown is, the wider world, society, whatever culture saying, you can't.
Yeah. And
her ordeal is to allow her to come back and to then have the community and to have her power, and she becomes all of these things. But that doesn't happen for Elle.
Yeah.
Because she's not a person, as you're saying. Like, that suggests, and this is another thing, like, if you are a goddess, if you are an element, right, then this doesn't happen to you. There's no process that you go on, like Diana or, whatever. Artemis does not go through this ordeal. You have to be a divine feminine human who, ascends. But if you always are ascended, there's nothing to connect with. So that's what she ends up being.
A god?
I don't think I want to say that. A plot device is more like it.
Yeah.
She's, a damsel in distress in a certain sense. Like, she's the princess in the castle who can magically save the day, but has no role to play in the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so frustrating. And it's clear that they didn't know what to do with her after that second season, because I feel like she becomes a lot worse in the second season. Like, she she kind of becomes annoying, but it's also like not fair to her because like she's dealing with Hopper, who is an asshole, and then also like he's projecting all of his own bullshit onto her constantly. So she never gets to be her like own character because she's always Hopper's daughter, Mike's girlfriend, the superhero. Like yeah, you're right. It's like she never gets to be her own character. She never gets to be her own person. Because even with the Collie stuff, like you would think like her going out on her own in the second season like would lead her to be her own person. But then Collie's just using her to kill people. Like, and it's just, and then Collie's using her again in the fifth season to be like, we need to end this bullshit. And it's like, but there's got to be a better way to end it. Oh, and the government stuff. We can talk about that in a minute. But I really don't like the way they treated Elle. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's cool that she's a plot device. Like, it sucks. It sucks so much. And then also Mike keeps saying this thing. This is just a silly thing. But Mike, throughout the entire season, is like, Elle, we're going to go find a place with 3 waterfalls. And then at the very end of the show, when he's like doing the thing and you see Elle in wherever the fuck she is, she's looking at a place with 2 waterfalls. And it's like, why have the line be 3 waterfalls and then you show us this fantasy at the end and it's only 2 waterfalls? It just makes me feel like nobody paid attention at all in this show. It's so frustrating.
I mean, but they do stop caring about it. Hopper, for example, when he goes to Mike, right? Mike's so sad he doesn't go to his graduation. He's lost this, his partner, and Hopper's like, yeah, you win some, you lose some,
Yes!
Hang in there.
Right?
You buck up, buddy, because, there's 2 paths, and you got to take the one,
Right.
You know what I'm saying, man, He was so traumatized, right, about the loss of his child, and then he's going to be traumatized by the loss of her. He's like,
It's fine.
It's all right. I'm all right with it. I've made peace.
Yeah, and the only person, well, that's not true. All the kids seem upset when, like, Elle is standing there about to die in the Upside Down. But Hopper looks, like, mildly upset.
He's a little annoyed.
But he was like, he literally says to her, I'm not going to destroy the Upside Down if you're in it. And now he's about to watch his supposed worst fear happen. And he's like, He's not even fighting the guards trying to get anywhere close to her to try and get her out. Like, yeah, he's just like, whatever. Mike is the only one who tries to, like, fight the guards to get away. Which, honestly, too, why didn't they just shoot him? Like, the military...
How any of them got away from the military or why is the biggest plot hole in
yes.
the end.
Oh, and that's like another thing that happens throughout this entire show is the show loves to do time jumps where, like, at the end of the season, instead of, like, answering any questions, it just does a time jump, and then they have somebody be like, oh, well, everything's just better now.
A really good lawyer showed up.
Yes.
Hopper got away with murdering half of the army.
Exactly. But he gets to be a sheriff again, even though they literally had a fucking funeral for Hopper, too.
Right.
Like, it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid. But that does piss me off so much. It's like Dr. K, they introduce her in this 5th season, and it's like, when I was rewatching the 5th season, was like, is this just a character that I don't remember? But no, she just never existed.
Linda Hamilton, like, I would have known, right? I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
They got her.
Yeah, right? And that's the only reason, because the Duffer Brothers were like, it would be cool to have her in
Same
it.
as Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
right? Like, this idea of, like, as nostalgic characters from the 80s
except
and 90s.
Joyce was a cool character until
until she stopped being. Yeah.
But... oh god, that is so frustrating. Like, we're all caught by the government, but hey, I guess the person we're after is dead, so you guys can just leave. Whatever. This show sucks. It's so stupid. It makes me so mad. And then I think your point about Vecna is really interesting. I mean, maybe we should just for context with the Vecna thing, I think all the, like, Vecna stuff with the kids is really cool, like the house bit and, like, being in the mind and the Mr. What's-It. Like, I just think Jamie Campbell Bower is so interesting. Like, every time he was on screen, I was, like, here for it. So then we get to see how Vecna kind of became Vecna by touching a rock after getting shot by some guy in a cave. And then, so it implies that Vecna is under control of the Mind Flayer, and Will tries to say that to him, and he's like, you can fight it, like I did. And Vecna's like, no, I'm cool. He doesn't control me. We're cool. But it's like, but does he? is he controlled by it or
no
not?
way of knowing. I mean, it's a strange moment when he takes the thing from the guy because he beats the guy to death with a rock. So it's implying that the kid in himself is not quite right.
Yes.
However, he was shot at.
Yes.
I mean, it's so back and forth on this question, but the show does want you to feel fine about the brutal destruction of his body and him in general. They need to kill him, and we need to feel good about it. Yeah.
And I mean, and they literally, like, as you're killing him, have flashbacks showing every horrible thing that happened throughout the entire show, even though he wasn't necessarily at fault for all of it.
It's
well, I
the
mean, I guess he
anti-Christian
kind of
ending.
was, but yeah.
It's the opportunity to forgive him, which would have been a more powerful moment. Instead, we take pleasure in his dismemberment.
Right. Truly. And then they get Joyce to do it. Like, she's like, you fucked with the wrong family or whatever. I do think it's an interesting point that people were like, at that point when Vecna was still alive, I saw an Instagram post like right before doing this episode that pointed this out, that Vecna was still alive. At this point, the Mind Flayer was dead. So if it had any influence over him, it was gone.
Right.
And so, like, this could have been a really neat moment where Vecna was like, I'm sorry. But they didn't even give him the chance. He was like clearly trying to speak or something, and then they were just like, chop off his head.
Right.
Like, it could have been so much more interesting.
Let's cling to our trauma forever.
Yes, yeah. They're not getting rid of their trauma. It's
they're vengeful. They're stuck.
Yeah, and then they even like say that at the end too. Like, it's like all the kids want to leave this place because they don't want anything to do with it anymore. Dustin like is like, fuck this place and stuff, and fuck this school.
Right. They all become super mean, and like it's the principal's fault what happened to any of this. Like, leave that poor guy alone.
I know.
She's trying to run a school in this weird town.
It was all of it. It's just it's just strange. I don't think it was a satisfying ending. I don't think the show as a whole is good. I think there's a lot of things that are problematic about it and stuff. Do you have any closing thoughts to say about it?
I got my piece in. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm not, and I do want to say, is like, if you enjoy the show, like, I'm not trying to say that you're stupid or anything. Like, I'm glad that you enjoy it. I don't ever want to make it seem like I'm trying to like gatekeep and be like, how dare you like something, except for the character Murray. If you like the character Murray, you need to check yourself. But otherwise, like, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And there are things in each season that I do enjoy about this show. However, as a whole, there are just things that make it to me that I'm like, this is just not a good show. Like, if you look at it from the first season, just the first season, I think it's a good show. The rest of it ruins it. But yeah, I guess that's my take on Stranger Things. I had so much to say. I'm sorry for how long this is. Oh, one more thing. I realized as I was rewatching the show that this show loves flashbacks. There is a flashback almost every single episode.
We were just talking about a major flashback moment.
Yes, but it's seriously, it's like almost every single episode there is a flashback, and a lot as the show gets like, because like in the first season I was even writing notes until I stopped because I was like, I don't care anymore. So in the first season there is a flashback every single episode, and as far as I could tell in the second season, from what I watched up to it, because I started a third rewatch, and that's when I was like, okay, fuck this noise.
That's enough already.
Yes, I did, truly. There was a flashback every single episode. Now, in the first season, the flashbacks are like new information, because it's like, oh, it's like Will before this, and like we haven't met these characters. But as the show goes on, they clearly don't have those moments anymore. So it's just flashbacks to things that we have literally already seen.
Remember when you saw this?
Yes, exactly. And that shit pisses me off so much. Like, I think it's kind of okay in the Vecna moment, because like it does make that moment more vengeful and stuff, where it's like, look at all the terrible things he did. Yep. Like, that moment makes it, I think, a little bit more powerful than just watching Joyce chop off his head. But all the other moments that they do, the flashbacks, is so stupid, because it's like, sometimes it's flashbacks of things that happened literally the last episode, and it's like, I know, I watched it. I can't stand it when that happens. I just think, oh god. But to give the show credit, the Duffer Brothers did want to use practical effects wherever they could, and I think that really shows, and I think it's really awesome and great. In the final season, I didn't even realize this because it looks CGI in the final season, but in the documentary they show that they called it the Tree of Pain, but that's where like he kept all the kids. That's where the finale happened. That was all practical.
That's cool.
Yeah, like all the spires and stuff are practical. Like the very background was CGI, which I think makes the rest of it look CGI, which is disappointing. But it was practical, and it was really neat. That was the coolest part of the documentary, was watching the people make all the scenery and all the props and stuff. Like that was really cool. Yeah, Stranger Things. I think I'm done with it. I hope I'm done with it. Oh my God, there's one other thing that I forgot about.
You still haven't hit 90 minutes.
Oh, okay. They made a Broadway show about Stranger Things. Did you know this?
I did not know this.
So it's called The First Shadow, and it is Henry's, Vecna's, the first backstory. But that doesn't make any sense. It's like about Henry going to high school and shit. But I feel like the fourth season implies that he was a kid, he was all fucked up, right? Like he killed his family, and after he killed his family, he was taken to the hospital, and that's when Dr. Brenner found him. Now, I haven't seen the Broadway show, but if Brenner has him, there's no way Brenner's letting him go to high school, right?
Right.
But he clearly is. And so when they do the flashbacks into his mind, like they show glimpses of the Broadway show in the, like when they're in high school, because it's like Joyce and Hopper.
Yeah.
Like that is what the Broadway
from the
show
Broadway
is
show.
about.
Yeah, okay.
And so it's supposed to be a tie-in. And also, like, they're doing Oklahoma, and then they go to the stage, and it's all these, like, people in the creepy skeleton costumes, and I'm like, what is this? This is not Oklahoma. And I said that our friend, I was just in New York, and I got to see our old friend Will, and he got to go see The First Shadow. He, like, went and saw the previews, and he was like, I haven't watched Stranger Things since the first season, and so I thought it was bad. The effects were really cool, but the plot didn't make any sense. And I was like, I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, he was saying something that, like, apparently Joyce was like, they wanted them to do Oklahoma, but she didn't want to do Oklahoma. So she was like, okay, we'll do Oklahoma, but then put on a completely different play or something like that.
With skeletons.
Yes. But they don't tell us that in the show.
No, there's no way to know that.
Yeah.
There's no time for that.
So if I do end up seeing that Broadway show, I will make a
Save your pennies.
Yes, but because I did think about trying to go see it, but the tickets were like $400,
Whoa.
and I'm like, I'm not paying that for that
it's
shitty
not
show.
Hamilton.
No, exactly. I wouldn't even pay that much for Hamilton.
I know. Nothing's worth that much.
I know, $200 max is like what I would do for a Broadway show. But yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there, that they are trying to like have like a little spin-off on Broadway about Henry, and to me I feel like it already makes the plot even more messy, the fact that Henry was even allowed to go to high school. And they even mention that he's in high school too, because like in the show itself, because it's like starring Henry Creel. Also, like, high schools don't do that. They don't hand out flyers to show being like starring this student. Like, they don't do that.
No.
But it says at the
Nobody
bottom,
cares.
It's starring Henry Creel. And it's like, but how was he able to go to high school? He murdered his entire family, and Brenner took him to the secret lab. Oh my God, there's just so much. Thank you for coming back and listening to us after we've been gone for so long, just to put that in there. Thank you for riding along with us. Please watch your step as you exit, and remember to take all personal belongings with you.